Hello everyone, welcome to How to Submit a Strong Application for the Executive MBA programme at London Business School. So I am the Recruitment Manager for the Leadership Programmes. My name's Nalika and I'm here with my colleague Hema.
Hi all, my name is Hema Solanki and I'm the Recruitment Associate.
So in today's presentation, we're going to talk about studying for the Executive MBA at LBS and how to submit a strong application, finishing with a question and answer session at the end. So let's first talk about understanding London Business School. So why do people apply for the Executive MBA programme? Well, there's a few reasons for leadership development, improving your skills to be the best leader, and then potentially taking these back into your workplace. Or if you decide to move on, having the skills to be able to develop your new departments and improve the organisation as a whole. And of course, career acceleration. So that could be broadening your network, potentially career transitioning and getting a global perspective. Not only via some of the course content, but also via the people you meet, and of course the international city of London. LBS has ties across the globe, which is one of the main reasons people come here as well. And finally, entrepreneurial ambitions. If anyone is wanting to become an entrepreneur, we have lots of facilities here to start your own venture. So the LBS vision. At LBS, you will receive a world-class degree. It's an internationally recognised brand, so it helps to open doors and start conversations. And the brand also tends to attract a higher quality student. So you'll be able to work with these in your study groups and, of course, network with these people after when you become an alumni and access the alumni network.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about our faculty. It is very, very strong. The individuals are experts in their own field. They have published a lot, so they're globally renowned. And they're backed by very strong research. So that's one of the strongest points of LBS. We have in-house full-time faculty members, someone like Dan Cable. And then we also have what we call our visiting faculty. One of them is Sir Andrew Lickerman. He is actually our former dean, has been associated with the school since 1975. Currently sits on many boards as advisor, one of them being the Bank of England. He's also become an entrepreneur at the age of 75, set up his own bank. So what you're learning from him is that he is in-house teaching a lot of the theory-backed content, but also he's working in industry, so it's very much on-tap information that you're being taught at the same time. Another renowned faculty member that I'd like to mention is Linda Grattan. She's actually the professor of management practice, steward of the World Economic Forum, and she sits on the advisory board for Japan's PM. So if you can just see the strength behind our learning. And this is just two individuals that we're talking about. So we have the full-time, we have the visiting. We also encourage a lot of our alum to come and teach and share their experience. If they have become an entrepreneur, they might come and teach some aspects of the entrepreneurial aspect of the content.
So as you can see, it's a hugely global school. We have ties with Columbia Business School in New York and also Hong Kong University, as well as having two LBS campuses, both here in London and Dubai. As Hema mentioned, the faculty, we actually have 154 faculty from 30 countries, 113 alumni clubs around the world, and 42,000 plus alumni based in 155 countries. So you're very well equipped, both here in the school and once graduating. So what does an EMBA class look like? The EMBA January class is quite a diverse group made of 137 students from 34 different nationalities. 36% of this class are commuters, which means they commute to London or Dubai for the programme. Our EMBA London students often travel to the programme from their homes in Europe or further afield. We actually had someone on the programme from Australia This,
That's right.
yeah, so that was a big commute every other weekend. And our students, they're not just diverse in nationalities and country of residence, they also come from a diverse range of professional backgrounds, including finance, general management, law, medicine, and media. And we've recently recruited someone with a background in art and the sort of auction houses. Now, this class profile includes both the EMBA London and the EMBA Dubai class, which run concurrently.
So the EMBA London and EMBA Dubai are sister programs. The difference lies in that the timetabling is slightly different. The EMBA London will take place alternate Friday and Saturday for the core course, whereas Dubai does them in block week. In terms of the reach of regions, obviously London will have a more Europe-based focus, and Dubai more of a Middle Eastern. However, both programs do have a more global approach as required. Elective choices are the same, and what happens is in the orientation week, both the Dubai and the London cohort will come together, so you can start forming your relationships there. Afterwards, you may come across each other in the electives that take place in year 2 of the program. I'm going to talk a little bit about our global business assignment. Now, this is a compulsory elective that takes place in year 2. It is one of our most popular one. What you're doing in this one is that you are acting in a consultative role, implementing the learning from year 1. So whatever you've learned as part of your core course, you're going to take that training, implement it in one of the locations that you choose out of the 6 locations that we have at the moment. You will be working together with either people from the London stream, Dubai, or the global streams. Our full-time MBA students also can be part of this group, and our Sloan strategy and leadership individuals. You'll be assigned a small to medium-sized enterprise. You will have to look at 1 or 2 of their practices and see how you can turn it around into a more profitable and more effective working process. Aside from that, what you're going to be doing in these locations is that you will be having dinners and you will have talks given by an industry head who's based in that area. So let's say if in Buenos Aires we have Coca-Cola head, then we will invite him to a talk where you will have the opportunity to listen to how they operate in that region and also interact with him. So this is one of our most popular electives that we do. It's also compulsory, and it is using your learning from year 1 in a consultative role that you are able to practice your learning. Aside from the actual content, we have a lot of clubs, and I cannot put enough emphasis on this. Joining these clubs is hugely important. It's part of your development. It's part of your character building. You can join, the clubs can be either academic and or sports, can be culinary. It's all to do with developing yourself as an individual, forming your network, and just becoming more wholesome. So these clubs have a lot of emphasis, and I would say outside of your timetabled content, do take opportunities to join 1 or 2 of these clubs. And these clubs are based globally, so once you graduate, you can then go and join them in your location as well. We're just now going to look at the admissions overview and how to strengthen your application. So the first stage is that you will come through us as part of the recruitment team, and then once you submit, the admissions team will take over. They will do the initial review, they will interview you, and then the decision process. So the way it works is that we have the online application form. You can submit up to a maximum of a 2-page CV. Please do not try and attempt anything more. The system will not accept it. The CV, if you have to concise it because you've got a lot of experience, try and do that, because you'll have the opportunity to tell us more about your experience in the actual application. So maximum 2-page CV. Then there are essays that are very, very important. I will talk about the essays later that you have to submit. Then we require 2 references. One is from your line manager, the first one. Reason behind that is that it's very important to have your work on board. so that there are no ambiguities at all. They know what you enrolled into. They also get the benefit because the learning, you are going to implement it into your role. And then we have the requirement of either a GMAT or the executive assessment score. This is establishing your quant, the verbal and the non-verbal skill set. There is a waiver, it's a narrow remit. I can always discuss this with you independently. You also are going to be required to submit transcripts. If they are in non-English, then we will require them to be formally translated into English and then submitted. So this is an overview of the actual application. I'm just then going to go into depth about how the first stage happens. So when you submit your CV, the recruitment team will do the first stage of the review process. We will make sure that you're aligned, your experience that we seek is aligned to the content of the EMBA. We are looking for an average of 10, 12 years of experience. We will definitely look at somebody at less than that if they have established their strength in their role. So on average, 10 to 12 years of work experience, out of which 5 should be at managerial. That is a combination or of managing teams, managing a process, managing a project, whereby you have actually had your input implemented and seen it through, and you are responsible for the end result. So you've had full ownership. If you can demonstrate that, the content of the program and the program as per se will truly work for you. So our role in the recruitment team is to ensure that you're aligned to that. Now, the essay, as I mentioned earlier, what we seek in the essay is that the first one, the question is, how do you see the EMBA developing your career? What we're looking for you from this is your passion. What has driven you to reach your current role? There is a motivation behind this. There's a drive. How then do you see the content of the EMBA really coming all together and making you grow and reaching the C-suite level that you're hoping to do as you progress? So the first essay, it's your selling tool. Give it your passion and tell us how you see the content truly developing you. The second essay, it's actually we're looking for how adaptable you are. The question says, how have you turned the weakness around? It is to look at a weakness that's been highlighted following, say, a feedback. You've taken on board that comment and turned it into a strength and implemented your adaptability skills. So the first essay is about passion. Second is about adaptability. And then the English ability. If you have been working in an English-speaking environment for 2+ years, your business transactions, etc., then the English ability is not a prerequisite. However, if you haven't been conversing or dealing in English, then we will require you to establish that score. We can always discuss that later on an individual basis once again. So that in a nutshell is what. So to ensure, please, that you really do put thought into your essay, because it is your selling tool, and the whole application as well, because we want to see more about you on paper, and then we'll follow it through when we see you face to face.
So the executive assessment, or the GMAT, the main things you need to know about the executive assessment or the GMAT is that as a fast track candidate, you can actually apply without the test. As Hema mentioned, the decisions on the waiver, they're made by the admissions committee. So if you think you're eligible for a waiver, like you've done some quants-based training previously, or your role has this kind of level of experience, then you can get in touch and we'll ask the admissions committee to review, and then we'll get back to you about this. And we only recommend tests and diagnostics to ensure that you're study ready for the programme. And we do recommend doing the EA executive assessment over the GMAT because it's 90 minutes, whereas the GMAT's 4 hours. So we do always recommend our leadership candidates to go for the executive assessment. So looking into the recommender or references, you know, when we speak to people, a lot of people are keen to know who should be their referee and how many references do they need. So I'd say choose someone who knows you well, understands you and your background and your context and ambitions. Perhaps your current boss. We do require your organisation to, say that you're eligible to come on the programme, because you will still be in full-time work usually, unless you're working as a consultant. So we do require a reference from your current employer. A previous boss or supervisor. The reference can be personal as long as they comment on you professionally. And if it's your own business, you can choose a supplier, a board member, or a bank mentor. In terms of the interview process, interviews can be conducted by alumni in your region. So you don't have to necessarily travel to London to have your interview. The LBS staff in Dubai. So don't get too nervous about having to fly into London for your interview. We can arrange something near to you if there is an alumni available. So the next steps. So after you've applied, the admissions committee will review your application. You'll then get a conditional offer and feedback, or you might not get an offer. And then you will then need to leave a deposit to secure your place on the course and plan your tuition, instalments and visa. So if you are applying with a Tier 4 visa, or you need a Tier 4 visa, we do always say to apply in the earlier rounds. I'm going to show you at the end of the presentation the different application deadlines. So that's also something to bear in mind. So send your CV to us, the recruitment team, for a free CV consultation. Then we'll get in touch with feedback, and like I mentioned, apply as soon as possible to arrange time to plan. And like I said, it's rolling application basis, so we fill the class as we recruit. And you can amend your application form as often as you like before submitting, and set up the details of your references. So that's always good to know, that if you've written a lot and then you're feeling tired, you can come back to it.
I'm just going to add one more, that please do not hesitate in submitting the application, because the timing is never going to be 100% for you. You will always find a reason to delay. However, if you have the momentum, just make that decision. And I'm sharing this from what I've learned from the alumni. So if you're ready to go 80% there, join the program.
Exactly. So yeah, just finishing, these are the next deadlines for the January 2020 intake. As you know, we recruit in January, and then the next recruitment process will be in September. So if you're applying for the January deadline, we've got the September the 17th, October the 8th, and November the 19th. So now we're going to open it out to the floor, and do feel free to send us your questions. Okay, so we have one question here. What if I have 12 years of experience, but I feel I have done a lot of great things? Would this make me an EMBA or a Sloan?
Okay, I would say that you're definitely aligned more to the EMBA program, because you're going to bring on board a wealth of experience. However, you are going to be an expert, I'm assuming an expert in your niche, but there is a gap in your learning, and that is what the program will deliver. It's the learning that helps you develop. So 12 years, it's excellent for us. A lot of the learning from the EMBA program is not just from the faculty, who, as I mentioned earlier, fantastic, but it's also from each other. So the gaps you will learn from our faculty and other members of the cohort. And likewise, you will have sufficient information, knowledge, and experience that you will be happy to share, and also maybe make it perfect or just discuss it further. But 12 years is a good alignment to our EMBA program.
We have another question here.
Hi Naveen, yes, it is possible to have a one-to-one. If you go on our website, emba@london.edu, I'll be happy to take this further, and take a one-to-one. We can either meet on campus, or we can have a phone call chat. So it's emba@london.edu, And my name is Hema. Thank you.
Someone's got a question here. I'm currently living in the US. Is it easy to get the visa, and can my wife also work in the UK? In terms of being easy to get a visa, like I mentioned before, you need to apply really on the earlier round so that when you go through the Home Office and so forth, there's enough time for the visa to be given to you. We do actually have a whole visa department at LBS that can help you with those questions. And yes, your wife, I'm not sure, can that for the Sloan program. We do know that you have a spouse visa, but I think it's different for the EMBA program. There's no spouse visa.
Okay, so a question we have is about the deposit amount. There isn't a deposit. What you do when you apply, there is an application fee. Once you've been accepted onto the program, there is a commitment fee. Now that commitment fee is actually part of the whole program fee, which currently is 90,800 sterling. So the £2,000 is a commitment fee which you pay when you've had the offer, which will then be taken away from your first installment. In terms of scholarship, we have partial scholarships. For the London program, it is aimed only for women. Apologies to you, gentlemen. Dubai has a few other options. You will have to make a separate application for scholarship, and each and every one of the application is reviewed and awarded on its own merit, and that's done by our admissions team. I have a question. 6 to 8 years of work experience. Yes, it is on the lighter side. However, it would be great to get your CV and let us then review it, and then we can take the conversation from there on. I hope that helps. You are definitely on the 6 to 8 on the top end for full-time MBA. It's unlikely the MBA program will be a challenge for you, but the EMBA will be.
I am having 10 years of experience in the IT industry. Which one would be appropriate for me, the executive MBA or the full-time MBA? So we would say that the executive MBA would be the right course for you, because having 10 years of experience means that the people on the course will be at a similar level to you, and like Hema mentioned before, the full-time MBA might not be as much of a challenge for you. What program would be suitable for 18 years experience? Yeah, so for the 18 years experience, we would say the Sloan Leadership and Strategy program would be good for you. So please do send your CV to sloan@london.edu, and I can review your CV for that program as well.
Hi, it's a question by Anirudh regarding the EMBA Global. The EMBA Global application is very, very similar. The addition on that is that there isn't for the EMBA Global Americas and Europe, there isn't a waiver in place. Being a partnership program with Columbia, both schools do require you to establish your GMAT or the executive assessment score. You will also need a letter from your company to verify that you can attend, because the timetabling of that is you spend 1 week per month at either school, so 6 sessions in London and 6 in New York. So hence we ask for your company's letter so that everything's on board.
I think also with the global, what's interesting is you can take your electives in some in Hong Kong, some in New York, London and Dubai, so you have access to all 4 schools, and you will graduate with 2 MBAs, one from CBS and one from LBS.
Hi Suresh, it's okay. The first deadline, yes, is 17th of September, but as we have rolling deadlines, you're good, because I am having a conversation with you a little bit after, so we should be okay. Please do not stress about this.
Hello. What career services are provided to EMBA students and alumni? So we do have a career centre at LBS dedicated to all programs. So you'll have an EMBA career lead who will give you one-to-one coaching as soon as you start the program. And also you have access, so there's different sectors, for example, the diversified sectors, finance, consulting, and the tech sector. So you also have career leads in all of these areas that can also advise you on those careers as well. Diversified being anything from healthcare, luxury, retail. So you do have some fantastic opportunities to talk to the career centre. And the one-to-one coaching is also amazing. It's actually one of the biggest career centres in Europe, and we really do dedicate a lot of time to helping people in that sector as well. Okay, I think that's. What is the next? We've got one final question. What is the next intake date after the January intake? Yeah, so then the next intake September. So we recruit January, September, like that. January and September, January and September. So yeah, the next one will be September. So that's all the questions for today. So thank you so much for listening, and yeah, do send your CV, or if you want to talk to us, to emba@london.edu.
Thank you. Bye.